Welcome or welcome back to Budgets and Dreams. My name's Jen and I'm on a journey to pay off £27,000 worth of debt with a goal to pay off £10,000 in this year in 2022. But today we are not talking money. Well, we kind of are, but today is the Q&A video. Yay! Lots of people have asked for this and are excited for it. I am nervous as heck. I feel like I am being interviewed, but we will just go for it and see how we do. So I hope you are all very, very well and that your weekend wasn't too down with all of the stuff about our lovely, beloved late Queen. But yes, today is not going to be a down video. There will be no mention of the house move or any of the stresses that come with it. We are just going to focus on the questions and hopefully have a little bit of fun. My mission for today is to not waffle. There are about 30 odd questions in this stack, all on like odd random bits of scrap card. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to quickly give these a bit of a shuffle because I didn't really want to prioritise any questions. I've written down every question I was asked unless there was like a duplicate question and then I've only written one. But yeah, so those have all been juggled. I don't know what we're going to get first. Okay, question number 1 from Brown Skin Girl. What are your financial goals for the next 5 years? My financial goals are, number 1, to pay off our debt. Number 2, to build up a really good emergency fund. Number 3, probably then have a big blowout of a holiday. And then if there's time in that 5 years, start seriously saving for our future. What that is yet, we're not entirely sure. We always thought we were going to save up for a house. But yeah, we're not sure now. One of my biggest values in life is freedom. And I need to weigh up a little bit about what sort of freedom a mortgage gives you. Because I understand it gives you financial freedom in the future. But 25 years at my age of a big, massive debt, not so sure. So yeah, that's the plan at the minute. Okay, next. Did you start off with one budget folder from Love Connection? Yes, I did, my darling. I had just my yellow binder and that included all of my bits and bobs. It was just in 2 sections, I think. It's hard for me to remember now. I changed things up a bit much. But yes, it was my spending money or my self-care money, and then everything else was kind of lumped into one. But to be fair, I didn't actually originally start off with any folders or any cash. It was all on HyperJar. But then, you know, I found the light side and switched to cash and I love it. Right, number 3. Ooh, I wrote this myself. Questions I'm asked regularly. What is the Jar app? It is called HyperJar. It is an app in the UK and it is free, and it is essentially a prepaid MasterCard that you can then split money into pots. And as I understand, there are other banking apps that do similar things like Monzo and Starling. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Another question I get asked all the time is where I can get those colourful envelopes, placeholders and the Freedom Challenge. The answer is nowhere, I'm afraid. I make them myself. I am toying with the idea of opening an Etsy shop just for the things that I use myself, that I've made for myself. It won't include the Freedom Challenge though, because there's some absolutely fantastic products by other people out there already and mine do not compare. But yeah, I'm toying with the idea of an Etsy shop. It just all depends on the cost of a PO box because I don't really want my home address out there in the real world. Hope that answers those. Right, what we got next? Does your husband have cash envelopes that he carries? From Holly. No, he does not. My husband has HyperJar as well because we share a lot of the jars. So like our joint expenses, so groceries, petrol, family fun, all the other jars basically. He uses those, and then he also has his own jars for his own personal spending. So he has a jar for beer money and what else has he got a jar for? I don't know what else he's got a jar for. Clothes, maybe? Yeah, bits and bobs like that. So yes, no cash, but he does use HyperJar and he does budget his spending / self-care money. Another one from Brown Skin Girl. Before starting your cash stuffing journey, what was your relationship with money like? What relationship? It was terrible. Absolutely terrible. I had no idea what I was doing with money. We never had any money growing up. So I never needed to like budget anything. It was just a case of if I wanted something, I'd ask my mum. If she had the money to give me, then she would. If she didn't, then she didn't. That was that. I started working when I was 15 to be able to get my own money, just part-time after school and on the weekends. And I did save all of my paychecks for the first, gosh, it must have been like 6 months to buy my first ever mobile phone. It was a Nokia 3210, 5210, something like that. And it cost me £90. And then once I had that, that was the only thing I wanted to save up for. And then after that, I just flushed it down the toilet. I smoked from a very, very young age, and it mostly went on cigarettes, which is very, very sad. But yeah, on my 18th birthday, my birthday present to myself was a credit card, and I've been in debt ever since. I never really knew how to budget. If I wanted something, I bought it. When the money ran out, I struggled, and that was about it. So yeah, I have always had a budget though, just to make sure I could pay my bills, but it was like, right, you've got 200 quid after you've paid your bills. The rest can just be spent on nonsense. So that was my relationship with money. Not a good one. Okay, my money matters. Where do you see your channel in a year's time? Hopefully still going, even if it's just for me. I absolutely love doing this. I really, really do. I look forward to it every Friday. I love all of the people that I have got to know, and I feel like I've made some proper friends in the community, and the support is just amazing. So in a year's time, I still see me being here. Probably done about another 10,000 changes, and yeah, hopefully some of you are still around to watch me stuff cash. One from Trace Jefferson. Hello, Trace. Will you continue cash stuffing when your debt is paid off? Yes, I absolutely will. This is now my life. I can't see me managing money any other way, to be honest. This is what I do from now until forever, and it is the lesson I will be teaching my son, although I should imagine he'll be doing it completely digitally. I can't imagine he'd want to use cash at all, being a Gen, whatever he is, Gen Alpha? Is that what he is? Probably. Anyway, yeah, so yeah, cash stuffing for life. From Megan Roig. I hope I've said that right, Megan. What do you do for a living? Oh, cool. I am an insights consultant. Doesn't that sound fancy? Basically, I am a data analyst that tells stories with the data and gives people suggestions on what to do. Although at the moment, it's mostly just turning out spreadsheets and updating people on stuff regularly. But yeah, it's kind of cool. I've been starting to learn how to create like visualization dashboards on an app called ClickSense, which means I get to learn a bit coding, even though it's very basic. And hopefully very soon I'm going to be learning another tool, which means I'll have to learn proper SQL, which is cool. It's very basic language. But yeah, I kind of really enjoy numbers and logic and telling stories. So it works out really, really well. But yeah, that's what I do. Love a spreadsheet, basically. Next. Once you're debt-free, what will you save for? From the lovely, beautiful, Simple Budget, who, by the way, is very nearly on 1,000 subscribers and deserved to have been on 1,000 subscribers yonks ago. She is the nicest person in the whole of ever. When I very first started out my channel, she actually gave me a shout out, and it made me feel so confident to carry on with it. I was so scared when I first started, and Simple Budgets gave me that boost, and I will forever be grateful, and I love her to pieces. Love you, Sarah. So yeah, subscribe to Simple Budgets if you haven't yet. But yes, once you're debt free, what will you save for? Definitely an emergency fund based on the lessons we've learned this week, and yeah, big holiday. Big holiday. Yes, please. Okay, next. From the Curious Budgeter, what would be your advice to young adults who are just starting out their finances? Don't get a bloody credit card for your 18th birthday, would be my advice. I don't know. I don't feel qualified enough to answer this question. I cannot give advice, for I'm not a financial advisor. But my guidance would be budgeting, cash stuffing. Learn what you can off of all of these videos and find your own way with it. I don't really know what else to say. Just plan for the future, have fun a little bit too. Make sure that you're not just squirreling everything away, and make sure you enjoy yourself. But yeah, I'm sorry, The Curious Budgeter. I don't know what else to say. But yeah, I love your channel. Okay, I'll move on. Okay, quick fire round from Budget Me Right. What is your favourite thing about British people? Our sense of humour. Without a shadow of a doubt, we are the funniest, wittiest, cleverest people with humour, in my opinion. I don't know much other humour other than British and American. But yes, I love our sense of humour. My favourite music artist, that changes depending on what mood I'm in, but I would say the artist that I've listened to the most over the past couple of years is a band called Gunship. They do like synth type music, but it's really, really emotive. So I have to be very careful when I listen to it, otherwise I can go into a bit of a hole. And my favourite movie since ever and ever and ever, it is, now nobody laugh at this, it is Sleepless in Seattle. Eek! I just love that film. I think it was the first film I watched like when I was a tween, as people call them now. It was about love and romance and serendipity, and which is also a film I like. But yeah, probably Sleepless in Seattle. Anything with Tom Hanks, really. I love him. He's my favourite. And a one tacked on from the end from Holly. What is your favourite novel? I will grab it for you. As things stand at the moment, this is my favourite novel. It is The Poisonwood Bible by Barbara Kingsolver. I always say Kingsolver. And it's absolutely incredible. It's a story of a missionary family who go to live in the Congo during the time of the Republic, is that what you call it? The uprising? And it follows the stories of each member of this family, the father, the mother, and the three daughters. And the imagery in this book is just incredible. When I finished reading it, I felt as though I'd lived in the Congo, somewhere I know nothing about. I know nothing about that period of history. Honestly, just the most amazing book I've ever read. So yes, this is my favourite at the moment. But I have lots of favourites, but this is one of them. So yeah, hope that answers that. Cool, right, let's move on. What we got next? MC. Hi MC. Where are your affirmation cards from, and are you a very holistic person? Oh, speaking of affirmations, this week's affirmation is I have unlimited potential. But due to the fact that it triggered me and I found out it triggers other people too, I'm going to put it to one side and not have it on camera. So where are they from? They are from Amazon. I need to put a link in the description. I will sort that out. And am I a very holistic person? I guess so. My mum, and I don't think she'll be offended if I say this, is a bit of a hippie. And so we've always kind of been brought up in a bit of a kind of woo-woo type of environment, I guess. But yeah, I've always been very much into like the universe and chakras and crystals and mindfulness and things like that, meditation. I don't practice them all the time. I kind of have fits and starts with crystals and things. But yeah, I guess I am a bit of a holistic person. I've never really given it that much thought, to be honest. But yes, deep down, I'm probably a bit of a hippie too. Next, what we got next? MC again, can you tell me more about the Freedom Challenge? Yes, I can. I developed the Freedom Challenge as a way for me to save up money for my debt in a way that I could see it and not just chuck it into the bank and it just disappear into a black hole of numbers. I wanted to be able to stuff the cash and kind of see it develop and add a bit of fun to my budgeting journey. So that's about it really. The binder was set to say £500 over 12 weeks or 12 stuffings. But I have just changed it and it is now the 250 Freedom Challenge because our new budget is a little bit tight. So yeah, and I made it myself. And yeah, that's about it, MC. Hope that answers the question. Next, we have from Budgeting Chronicles, will there ever come a time when you will stop cash stuffing? Absolutely blooming not. It has changed my life. And when you started, did you ever have to explain yourself to anyone? Nope. Fortunately, I explained to my husband about how much I was enjoying watching these videos and I really think this is the way that things could work for us. He was fully on board. I think he's just quite grateful that I'm looking after the money. And no, loads of my friends have been super supportive. I haven't really told anyone at work, don't feel the need to. And yeah, a few of my friends don't watch my videos and never comment on it. you know, in our personal lives. And when I told them about the successes of the channel recently, it was just, yay. So I think they probably have opinions on it, but they've never raised them, so I don't care. But don't feel like you have to explain yourself to anyone. If anybody feels as though they're being challenged for the way that they're doing something, just who cares? Do you. If it works for you, do you. Do not give two hoots what somebody else thinks about the way that you are managing your money. It is none of their business. And that's all I'm going to say on that. So, Megan again, do you find the affirmations actually help your mental health? I really like this question, Megan. It's an interesting one because no, not solely and on their own. Do they give me some sort of an anchor and guidance? Definitely. So I suppose in that way they do help my mental health. For example, last week when I had a really, really difficult week learning about the house move and stuff, the affirmation that week was, I am capable of amazing things. And every time I got a bit down or I felt a bit stressed, I did remind myself of that. And it did just push me forward that little bit more. So kind of yes and no, I guess, Megan. But yeah, that's about all I can think to say on that without waffling for 8,000 years. Right, what we got next? Charlotte Lavelle, what's your current retirement plan? To live long enough to see my retirement. I don't know, to be honest with you, Charlotte. I do have a pension through my work, a very, very good pension. They're amazing. They offer a huge percent and we're allowed to top up and they match our top up. But yeah, I don't really know. I'm not really that clued up on retirement. I think because my focus is all on the debt at the moment, retirement's not going to be something I seriously think about for quite a while. I know that Intentional Living, an American YouTuber, she suggests that you put away 15% of your income towards your pension. So yeah, hopefully one day I'll maybe start to do that. But yeah, at the moment, I don't really have a retirement plan other than to just keep breathing long enough to see it. Right, what we got next? Budget Me Right again, one of my faves. How did you meet your husband? So I was about 19 working behind a bar. He was about 17 and he came into the bar. This is the first time I met him. And he had just passed his driving test and he was bragging to one of my friends. And I was like, who is this kid? He's like this relatively shortish fella with super cute little dreadlocks. And he was super cute, but in my eyes at the time, he was a kid. And then it was a few years later in 2016, and we went to a mutual friend's birthday party, and he made the whole table laugh. And as I looked up at him and laughed, our eyes met and I felt something. Now, I know that sounds ridiculous, but as I've mentioned already, I love a bit of a love story. But yes, it was, for me, it was like electricity. He doesn't feel the same way. He'd had a few beers. But I think there was something because he did then spend a lot of time with me that evening and we had a bit of a flirt and it was a bit of fun. But then, yeah, after that, I just stalked him basically for about 2 months until he finally relented and finally kissed me one day. I was just about to give up and think, oh, I've read this completely wrong. He's not interested at all. And then, yeah, he kissed me. It was very sweet. But yes, that's how we met. We were very, very young. And yeah, so I think when we met when we were 19, so I was, it was 2006, not 2016. Did I say 16? I always say 2016. Anyway, so we first met sort of around 2003 and then we got together 2006. Yes, 2006. But yeah, I love him. What we got next? Love Connection again. How do you stop spending guilt following a blowout? Well, the only answer I've got for this is return it. So I ordered some stuff quite a while ago now, and it was an impulse purchase, and I was trying to get over my impulse buying. And I messaged my friend, my dearest friend, who's very super supportive, and I was like, oh no, I've just bought this thing. And she was like, you know, you can just return it, right? I was like, oh my God, can I? Okay, cool, I'll do that. And I've done that a number of times since then. I've ordered something, I've gone, oh, I really didn't need to do that. and I've sent it back. So if you're feeling guilty after spending something and you don't really need it, just send it back. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have any advice, I'm sorry, because I know that a lot of the time we impulse buy because we're feeling a certain way. So maybe the trick is to catch the feelings before you spend them. Maybe. I'll leave you with that one. Right, next question. Budget me right again. How did you decide to start your channel and how did you feel filming for the first time? Gosh, I wrote that on a slant. How did I decide to start my channel? My husband and my son made me do it. They tied me up and they forced me to the chair. It wasn't quite that dramatic, but my husband and my son did really encourage me to start the channel. I've always kind of had feedback through people, various things. I've done speaking, not a lot of it in person, but a lot of presentations and things since working from home. And the feedback has always been that I'm very, very good at it, even though I'm kind of dying inside every time I do it. But yeah, my husband, I guess, with that in his mind, and my son, who absolutely is desperate to be a YouTuber, was like, yeah, you do that, Mum, you can do it. So the first video that I filmed was actually just my first suck it and see type situation. And I was terrified and I felt like an idiot talking to myself, literally. It feels very different now because I'm talking to all of you guys. And so now when I'm doing these, I feel like I'm talking to old friends and it's made me relax a lot. And I've learned a lot. And I think my presentation confidence is going to increase massively because of this. So that's awesome. But yeah, it was, I'm afraid, a bit of an impulse situation with a bit of a needed encouragement from my husband and my son. So that's it. Lovely, lovely Violet. I hope that answers the question. It's not too disappointing. Right, next we have got Sarah Chambers. Hey Sarah, how do you remember to write down all your spends? If they're spends in cash, I forget all the time. If they are digital spends, it's really easy. I just go through HyperJar and it shows you a list of everything you've spent. And then, yeah, I can just catch up that way. But yes, I am rubbish at remembering what I've spent in cash. So yeah, I think for you and for me and for everyone else who struggles with that, we probably need to get some receipts. Maybe. Next, we have got Holly again. Do you have any tips for how to save on the grocery bill? I wish I did, Holly. Not really. So I can tell you how we do it. So every single week on a Thursday night, I sit down to do the budget. And then when the budget is done, I create a weekly meal plan. And from that, make a list of everything that we're going to need for the week. I kind of chuck in what we fancy. And then I have a look at it and see things like, is there too much meat? Is there something that I've put in for one day that I could actually use for a meal on a different day? And I kind of juggle things about to try and bring the cost down, and then sticking to a specific shopping list. But yeah, I did do it all online until very recently. I was doing it online through Asda, and then that stopped any temptation when I was in a supermarket. Not that I would go to a supermarket. Oh my God, those places are hell. But yeah, but now my husband actually does it on a Saturday morning. He goes to Aldi and we've saved an absolute truckload of money since we've gone to Aldi. There are always a few bits that we can't get and we just get those from other local supermarkets. But yeah, so I suppose the only tip that I have is meal plan. Kind of budget your meal plan in a sense of if you're buying, I don't know, a pack of bacon for a meal for something, you probably will have half a pack of bacon left. So what else can you use that for later in the week? Similarly, if you like things like chicken soups or ramen or something like that, then what we tend to do a lot of the time is roast a chicken on a Sunday and then use that leftover chicken in a couple of meals throughout the week. So it might be like ramen, or we might have just like chicken sandwich or salad or something like that. But yes, I don't really have that many tips, but find a cheap supermarket and budget your meal plan, I guess would be it. Thanks, Holly. Holly again, why did you start your budgeting journey? Because I needed to. Really, my budgeting journey, if you like, started decades ago when I didn't have any money and I was having to borrow from Peter to pay Paul. And to do that, I had to have some way of tracking it and a spreadsheet. And I found my little debt tracker book from years and years ago the other day when we were clearing stuff out. That was quite a cool little memory find. But yes, so I have been budgeting for a long time because I used to be on weekly pay as well. And so I used to have to try and figure out how much money I had available each week to spend, although it was literally to spend. I would just throw it down the toilet. But yes, but why did I start this budgeting journey? Because I'm absolutely sick of being in debt. I can't take it anymore. I've been in debt my entire life since I was 18 years old, and it just needed to be done. And I saw people on the internet doing it and I was inspired, and yeah, here we are today. So hope that's okay, Holly. Next, we have got from My Money Matters, what are your top 3 ice cream flavours? Such a poignant question. I love it. Absolutely 100% top of the list, always and has forever been strawberry. Now don't boo at me. But yeah, I've just always liked strawberry. So there's 3 of us. Well, there was, we now have lots more siblings, but there was 3 of us for a long time. My sister, my brother and myself. My mum used to buy those Neapolitan ice creams, which were like chocolate, vanilla and strawberry. My brother would have the chocolate, my sister would have the vanilla, and I was left with the strawberry. So I developed a taste for it. But yeah, I absolutely love strawberry ice cream. And the place that we go and get our ice cream from, their strawberry ice cream is just the best. But second to that, from that place, I would say the apple crumble flavour ice cream was just absolutely amazing. The layers of flavour in that, I don't understand how they do it. And then lastly, probably anything with caramel in it. Salted caramel is even better. There's a really lovely tub of ice cream you can get from the Co-op. I think it's called Millionaire's ice cream or something. Oh my gosh, that stuff is delicious. But yeah, I do love a bit of ice cream. Thanks, Esther. So from Budgeting Chronicles again, how have you found it mixing both cash stuffing and digital banking? A dream, my darling. I absolutely love it because I don't have to remember to take my cash out with me for my weekly expenses like petrol, groceries, which for me is a godsend. I have got just the most awful memory for stuff. I leave things behind pretty much every time I go out. I'm always forgetting things, dropping things, losing things. So having to just have my purse. Yes, I absolutely love it. It is cool. And it means that me and my husband can share our weekly expenses. So like the petrol and the shopping, so that it doesn't all just lay on my shoulders, because it would never get done because those things terrify me. Will Flossie stay intact when the coins go to the bank? Yes, she's already been emptied once and she does stay intact. She's got a little bung at the bottom so we can get all the money out. So yeah. But yeah, I love doing both. I love the savings being in cash because then I don't touch them at all. And I love the weekly spending being digital in HyperJar because then it's easily accessible. Cool. Right, next, what we got? Jazz Herndon. How do you stay motivated to stick to your budget? I love numbers. That's really it. I play with my budget like every day. But I suppose that's doing the budget, isn't it? Not sticking to the budget. How do I stay motivated to stick to the budget? I don't know, actually, Jazz. That's a really interesting question. I suppose because I know that if I spend anything today, it's not going to be there tomorrow. So if I was to overspend in a week, then that means that all of the sinking funds that I want to stuff the following week or the following month or later in the year won't get what they need to be able to reach the goals that I want to reach. So I guess it's just being conscious of the future and consequence, which is crazy because I have no idea of consequence usually, but it turns out I must do with money. But yeah, that's about it, Jazz. Hope that's okay. Next, Joe. This was my favourite question of all time. How do I get from Covent Garden to Harry Potter World by public transport? I love this question, Joe. And yes, I don't live that close to London, as we've already spoken about, but my husband knows a thing or two about trains, so maybe he will pop in a map or some guidance here. But I'm sorry, Joe, I have got no idea. But good luck. I hope you enjoy it. Sarah Chambers, do you prioritise your envelopes for weeks you don't have as much money to stuff? Yes, I do, Sarah. I juggle and tweak and adjust my budget all the time. yeah, I just make it work. I would really like to get into the routine where I'm stuffing the same amount of money in each envelope each week, although it'd be entirely boring for you guys. It's the way I need things to work. But yeah, it just hasn't worked out that way. So yes, I do prioritize. I prioritize my envelopes for weeks I don't have as much money, or for when things are getting close, like if a bill's due, like my son's club fees, or if there's a birthday due or something like that, then I'll heavy load it, and then other sinking funds will just have to take a step back. And yeah, cool. So next one. Whilst on this cash stuffing journey, did you notice any difference in other aspects of your life? And that's from Brown Skin Girl. Yes, I did. I have noticed that I am way more organised, and I now plan like literally my entire life. Life just normally used to happen for me. It was like, oh, don't forget you've got that thing tonight. And I'd be panicking like, oh my God, completely forgotten. But now because of the budgeting, I'm actually writing down all of my appointments, which is something I've never done before. I have like diary printouts where I like schedule what days of the week I might want to do certain things. And yeah, planning basically has been the biggest difference, Gillian, and yeah, that has actually been a huge game changer for me, because it's not the way that my brain works. So the accountability of the channel, I think, is giving me what I need to be able to stick to the budget and also to plan my life accordingly. So yeah, it's great. It's given me a lot. How did you find the budgeting community? From Charlotte Lavelle. Jordan Budgets, and that was it then. So from Jordan Budgets, I watched Tara Budgets, and from Tara Budgets, I watched Daisy Budgets. And then, yeah, I just literally just each suggested video that came up at the end of a cash stuffing video, I was like, yep. And I still follow loads of them today. UK wise though, after I was watching loads of American cash stuffers, I was like, this is amazing, I love this, I wonder if anyone else does it in the UK. Searched UK cash stuffing, and Rainbow Budgets came up, and it was her very raw, real video about how she had no idea how she was going to pay her bills. And it hit my heart because I've been there. And I never used to comment on videos of my personal YouTube because my son uses it. So as far as YouTube are concerned, I absolutely love Minecraft and Fortnite videos. But yes, I had to comment on Rainbow Budget's video because I just felt for her so much. I love her to pieces, Natalie. I think she's incredible. Her growth is well deserved, and she's a legend. But yeah, and then from Natalie at Rainbow Budgets, I then found a bunch of other UK cash stuffers, and yeah, got completely addicted. So that is how I found it. YouTube said, you need this, and YouTube was quite correct. Right, what are we on? A few more. Mama Saves 2022. Have you ever considered getting a budgeting Instagram? I have considered it, and at the moment I am not going to do it. I think it would just be too much stress in my life. I get very, very nervous about sharing my life and personal things, which is surprising. The money's different, but yeah, personal stuff. I don't know what it is about Instagram and Facebook and things. It seems so very raw, and I'm not sure how I feel about that, but I do feel very, very sorry for the person you told me about on Instagram who had to change their name to Budgets and Daydreams. When I set up my channel, I did search everywhere for the name Budgets and Dreams, and I couldn't find it, so I feel really bad that she had to change her name. I don't know which came first, but either way, sorry, Budgets and Daydreams, should you watch my channel. But yes, I might get an Instagram page in the future, but right now, Mama, probably not. Right, last 3 questions. One from Simple Budgets again. What is one really simple thing you really enjoy / helps your mental health? Breathing. Breathing is actually genuinely one, but also just looking at the trees. So I was told once that connection with nature for 5 minutes is all you need to settle your alpha waves. I don't know if any of this is true, but basically apparently you have like a stress kind of meter, I guess, in your body, and just looking at nature for 5 minutes can settle that. And yeah, so I just like sitting back and staring out the window now, sitting back and watching the leaves jiggle away in the breeze, or watch my fish swim around the fish tank for a little bit, or yeah, super simple, and yeah, makes me feel great. And smiling at the sun, I've mentioned that one before. I really love closing my eyes, turning my face to the sun and smiling, and it just makes me feel great. And also staring up at the stars in the nighttime too, because it reminds me that I am small. And I know for some people that's terrifying and doesn't help, but for me it does, because it gives me back some perspective, which is great. And another thing is just spending time with my son, watching a movie and just being close and sharing a giggle. But yeah, good question. Thanks, Sarah. Another one from Simple Budgets. If money was no object, what would you treat yourself to? She was very specific, was Sarah, on this one. Not my family or my son, my husband, but just me. And I gave it some thought, and I had to really think about this because this isn't something I'd ever thought about before. The answer is a trip to Hawaii. I have wanted to go to Hawaii since I was about 11 years old, and I first learned about volcanoes. And yeah, I am desperate to go to Hawaii. I'm also desperate to go to Iceland and South America and Spain and any other place that has got awesome volcanoes, because I love them. In fact, my sister for my birthday last year got me a bit of lava from the, I'm going to say this wrong, from the Fagradalsfjall volcano in Iceland, because I had been watching this volcano erupt for like 6 months, like every day. It became like my favourite thing. I nearly booked a very last minute trip to Iceland as well, and my son was like, "You can't do that. You're a grown-up and you have children to look after." Just him. I was like, yeah, you're right. Thanks for being the sensible one. But yes, Hawaii, and I would have the best time of my life. Final question. Budget with Becca. How did you decide when your budget starts and finishes for the week? It's all set around my husband's pay. So my husband gets paid every 4 weeks, and he gets paid on a Friday, and so our budget starts on a Friday and finishes on a Thursday, and it follows his 4-week cycle. And that's about all there is to say, Becca. Hope that's all right. So yeah, that's it. I actually really did enjoy that once I got into the swing of it. If I answered anything a little bit rushed, or you want any further clarification on anything that I have said, then do drop me a comment and I'll do my best to explain. But yeah, that's it. Oh, how weird to do a video with no cash to put away right now. But I suppose I ought to end the video with this week's affirmation. I have unlimited potential, and I've been doing some reflection on this for all those people who find this triggering. I would like to ask you, I challenge you to ask yourself, whose potential are you living up to, or do you feel triggered by? Because for me, it was my teachers, and I read through all my school reports the other day, and I came to the realisation that the potential that they saw in me is now not the potential that I can hopefully start to see in myself. It's all about perception, and I think we have the potential to reach anything that we want to reach in life if it's something that we love, and it's something for which we have the right balance with our life and our work and our happiness. So yeah, I will leave you with that. But I love you all so, so much, as you well know, and I will see you on Friday. Bye everyone.